And the map that John Lewis and I are interested in talking about to you is politics. Now, once again, we are not saying join this party or that one. And we're not saying vote for this man or that one. We're simply saying that you ought to get involved in what is really my real profession, the second oldest profession in the world, the profession of politics. Now, I know that a great many young people, young black people particularly, are not interested in politics. They don't like politics, they don't like politicians. And part of the reason is, I think, that they don't have a clear understanding of exactly what it is. Now, I know a great many of you in high school were told in civics class that politics is the art of the possible. And I always thought that meant that for black people almost everything was impossible. And when I got a little older and got into college and went to political science, which is civics taught by an older person, I was told that politics is the art of compromise, which I always thought meant that black people had to compromise so much that in the end there would be almost nothing left. But I think both of those are mistaken identifications of what politics really is. I think politics in this country for black people, for poor people, for all of the people who get the short end of the stick, for all of the people who are at the bottom of the ladder, politics has to be a new and different kind of art. It has to be the art of seeing who gets how much of what from whom. Let me say that again. Politics is the art of seeing who gets how much of what from whom, and we are the who haven't gotten any of anything from you know who. Now, lots of the reasons people don't like politics is because they really don't understand what it does. Well, politics is quite simply the force that decides everything about your life. It's politics that decides how fast you can drive on the highway. It's politics that decides when a Texas state trooper, let us say, stops you for speeding, whether or not the trooper says, "Come here, girl," or "Come here, boy," or whether he says, "Excuse me, madam, I noticed your automobile was traveling in excess of the posted speed limit." That's all politics. But the nicest thing about politics is that if you don't want to be in it, you don't have to. It used to be in this country that people would shoot you if you tried to register to vote. But things have gotten better, they tell us, and now nobody will shoot you to make you register to vote. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. If you want the people who've been running your business for 352 years to keep on running your business, they'll be perfectly happy to do it. They like doing it. They love doing it. They get their cookies doing it. They have been doing it for so long that they think God ordained in His heaven for them to do it. In fact, if you could listen to them talk about you, they would say that you don't want to do it, that you are happy having somebody else run your business for you. You must be happy if you put up with it for 352 years. Now, they will be glad to keep on doing it. They like being the mayor, being in the state legislature, being the governor, being the lieutenant governor, especially in this state. Love being in public office in this state. And if I could be governor of Texas for just a week, I wouldn't have to work another day in my life. They just love doing it. They think they were meant to do it. Now, as I say, you can let them go on doing it. They won't give you any argument. They'll keep on doing it as long as they can put one foot in front of the other. But you know, we are supposed to be, although sometimes I doubt it, we are supposed to be a kind-hearted and a loving people. Most of us are Christians of one kind or another. And because we are, we ought to take Christian pity on these people who surely, after running our business, running the business of almost every other country on the face of the earth for 352 years, they must be tired. We ought to send them home. Let them sit on the front steps and drink a big orange and watch the automobiles go by. Now, to try to finish quickly, all of this can be done. It's not easy, but it's not as hard as people say it is. And it's very important to us. There are many people who will tell you it doesn't make any difference who's president of this country. They used to say, like George Wallace used to say, that there's not a dime's worth of difference between them. But just ask yourself, who was it who put or tried to put Carswell and Haynesworth on the United States Supreme Court? Who was it who finally ended up putting the Minnesota Twins there? Who was it who made John Mitchell the Attorney General of the United States? Who was it who, over the past 3 years, has made black people take 2 steps backward for every 1 step forward we've taken? I know there are lots of people who say it doesn't make any difference who the president is. And I must admit that I once thought it didn't make any difference either. But I would just, as I say, we didn't come here to make anybody vote for this man or that man or the other man, but you just think, next year this country is going to choose a new president, new vice president, all of the members of the United States House of Representatives, over 1/3 of the senators. Some of the states will be choosing governors and lieutenant governors. And if you think it makes no difference, then you don't have to have anything to do with it. I think it makes a fantastic amount of difference.